The views and opinions expressed on What the Frick Live are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Manifest Network or EmilyMenshouse.org. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, or individual. Hey, everybody, it's Monday.
How's it going?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Greg?
Good. At Ghost Inspector Greg.
What do I think of spirit fingers? That's a whole new meaning to spirit fingers, right? So, yay, it's another Monday night, our third Monday night show. So, yay, we're moving along pretty good on Monday evenings. And so anybody that's watching this tonight, we have a lot of people in here saying, hey, everyone. Hi, Emily. Hey, Katie, Brandon Cooper. And Gail Turner too. There's a little slight delay on my end. I don't know if you see that, but Gail, I'm here, Katie. So yay, we got some good people here. So during our interview tonight, if you have any questions or anything, please go ahead. Feel free to ask. We try to get to some of the viewers' statements or questions. Also, if you're watching by YouTube, make sure you subscribe. And what my son would say, ring that bell. We are live tonight on the Manifest Network and then What the Frick Live group and then YouTube only, not on Twitch tonight. So I'm trying something a little bit different. But just want to say thank you, everybody. Hope everyone had a good week. And speaking of weeks, Greg, have you done any kind of investigations or anything?
Well, no, but I am planning another trip to the Hollywood Forever Cemetery next week. And I intend to revisit a couple of celebrities. I'm going to go. I'd like to go talk to Mickey Rooney again, and I'd like to revisit Estelle Getty, which actually I still need to post that on my Instagram. But had phenomenal conversation with her, and maybe even go back over to Judy Garland and see what else I can get out of her. Which I did get some pretty crazy things, from her too. So that's planned for next week. This last week. Broken windshield, damaged fridge, so many things going on, busy work schedule.
What is up with this week? Are we in retrograde or what's going on? Like it's been hit after hit with me too on my side. So like, what is going on?
Yeah, well, hard to say, but you know what? In the end, it'll be okay.
That's what I always say too. Yeah. I have actually told my son that too. Whatever it is, by this time tomorrow, you'll be okay. This time next week, you'll be okay, and so forth. So, but speaking of your paranormal investigation,
you slipped out.
And I no, did you see that?
Yeah, you kind of wigged out there for a second. What was
cut out?
Yeah, you may have to repeat that.
Everything's electrifying tonight. Woohoo!
Yeah. That might have been
After we just say what's
supernatural.
going on, I need to pray over my computer screen tonight and my internet connection. No internet problems all day today, so I don't know what that was. But you use one of his devices in your paranormal investigations, and I'm trying to get one of the mini boxes, and we're going to talk about that. But I always say behind every man, there is a good woman. And I cannot tell you how much I admire this lady that's coming on this evening. Her name is Katy, not KD, which is kind of cute. I love that. I wonder if they have tattoos. We'll ask. Katy, Katy Stafford. She is the wife of Katy Stafford that has been on several paranormal shows coming up. But she has been dealing with the paranormal since a very young age, since 4th grade. Now, I love the people that serve our country. So both Katy and Katy have served our country. Thank you so much for your service and dedication for us to remain in freedom and everything over here. But for a long time, she comes from a very distinguished background. That Katy's mother is a retired environmental chemist. Hello, that's awesome. Katy's stepdad is retired from Homeland Security as a profiler, and Katy's also a profiler. Before I go into any further, I'm going to bring her on because I want everybody to ask and know more questions about her as we bring her on. So let's bring Katy on. Hey, Katy.
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, I made it. No technical difficulties, and I'm going to send you some, not sage, but some sweet grass to kind of cleanse your computer.
Now
I need it.
By sweet grass, we're talking.
Are you thinking weed? He's thinking weed.
No, sweet grass.
California.
No, sweet grass is what Native Americans use.
Yes.
For smudging.
Yeah.
I prefer sweet grass. I don't really cleanse unless it absolutely needs to be done, which I have not done a cleansing. Normally just taking I use bells or whatever. That works a lot of times. I've
seen sweet grass used by some tribes out this way. It's interesting, nice and long, and
it's beautiful. Some of their rituals that they do. I'm fond of the Wyandot Indians. They used to make these big long braids, and I used to go to the Wyandot Museum, and unfortunately, they don't have them there anymore. And this picture, I don't know if you guys can see it, actually was made by one of the Wyandot Indians. It was made by a young man. Yeah, he teenage
the white
boy.
Horse?
Yes, yeah.
Are you kidding me? The white horse?
No. Yeah. He made this.
Wow.
A young man. Very, very fabulous artist. It was actually really cheap.
Wow.
It was $30. That was like $30. That's really cheap for this kind of art. And I also, gosh, what's that guy's name? He's from Montana. I have a lot of his old Native American art. I have an original that he's not up on the wall. I have it in a bag because I'm trying to procure it. It's worth a good bit. I think his name's Russ. I can't remember his name, but anyways, yeah.
Well, real quick, Katy. First of all, the white horse is funny. I've listened to 3 videos today dealing with the white horse and symbolism. That's why.
Well,
I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it because I listened to the biblical prophecy side of the white horse. I've listened to traditional side of the white horse when it comes out of the Quran. I listened to 3 videos today. Well, I say videos, they're on YouTube, but I'm listening to them while I work about the white horse. So,
and what did you?
That's why I'm getting goosebumps left and right.
I have seen an apparition of a white horse come on the side of my house one evening, and I could even hear it, which is very odd because I don't see things. I'm not don't see things, but this was very profound. This was, I'm getting chills thinking of it. What I found was it was protecting me from something. I don't know. There's different theories out there. about the white horse and the black horse.
Yeah, there's tons. And then the four horsemen of the apocalypse and things like that. So that was how I was going through the day. In the pale horse, which is also considered like a green type of horse, but it's also, if you look upon it, it looks white, because that's why they call it pale. I've listened to 3 videos today on the white horse. And I think your picture right now, we did not talk about this, Greg, did we? Nothing. Yeah. That picture right now confirmed the stuff I studied today. Yeah. I'm like,
I can't get it off my wall. It's like really stuck on there because I have it.
Yeah,
I have it in about 8 mil protectant, film. So it doesn't until I get a frame made for it. So, it's one of my favorite pieces of art. I love art, especially old art and anything that's Indian related, Native American related. That's my primary study as a historian, is Native American history. So,
okay. And so to get into the show, because I need to go out and share this out here in a little bit, just tell everybody else a little bit about you, Katy, how you got started. I didn't want to go into much details in your intro, because I always like for our guests to explain a little bit more. How'd you get started? What intrigued you? And then maybe put in a little bit of romance. How did you and Katy meet?
Okay. Well, if you want to start, we can start with the romance. Because because Katy and I guess we kind of have some humble beginnings, maybe. I don't know. But anyways, I met him at a gas station. Sure did. I was working at the Texaco gas station in the little town.
Gas?
Well, yes, he used to come and get gas, and I was like, oh, he's attractive. And the lady I worked with, he'd come in, 2 or 3 times a week, and he'd mostly after work. And I was, 17 at the time, about to turn 18. And we were born the same year. He's just 6 months older than me.
Okay.
So he would come in, after work, and would buy gas or cigarettes and a Mountain Dew, always a Mountain Dew. And I don't know what it was with him, but I liked him. He was just really nice. There was something about his aura, and you kind of get that feel about people when you're around them. Like you get this feeling, like, I don't know. I felt like I got this feeling that I have known him forever, but I was nervous, so I couldn't never talk to him. Well, one day he was out there pumping gas, and the lady I was working with, she's like, "Run out there and get his number." And I'm like, I haven't dated anybody in a long time, blah blah blah, because I didn't really care for boys and having a boyfriend or anything like that. I liked my freedom. I liked hanging out with my friends, and I just thought maybe having a boyfriend would take away my fun with all my girlfriends and whatnot. But she talked me into it. So I'm running outside. But by that time, he done got in his truck, started it, and drove off. A couple weeks later, I had put in my notice because I was moving on to Lerner, New York. I don't know if you remember that clothing store.
I was this assistant manager for that store for years.
Hey,
and opened other stores. I met Lex Wexner. I could have almost met Jeffrey Epstein.
Really?
In Columbus.
Oh, yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I worked for
that. Oh, loved it too. I cried when all this stuff went under. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He ended up working there after I quit.
Katy worked.
He ended up working at this Texaco station, and me and him were scheduled on the same schedule. But I had already quit because I was moved to Lerner, New York, and I'd go into the gas station. Well, first, one of my coworkers, she called me. She's like, "Hey, you know that guy that you liked for whatever reason? He works here now. You could have been working with him, but yeah, you had to put in your notice and leave." And I was like, "So he's up there now?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "That's it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go up there, let him know I like him." And so I brought my sister-in-law with me. I still could not. I had butterflies in my stomach. To this day, I still get butterflies in my stomach with my husband.
Aww.
And we've been together for 24 years. And
awesome.
I couldn't do it. So my sister-in-law gave him, my phone number. And he didn't call for like 2 or 3 days, and I was like, whatever, And after the second day, I didn't care. I didn't even anticipate him to call me or anything. I was just like, oh, I didn't really think about it. And all of a sudden I got a phone call from him wanting to have coffee. And guess what? Miss Katy loves her coffee. I mean, I can't. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. And,
yeah. Okay.
I drink lots and lots of coffee, which is bad in water, but
great.
So we met at my house and we had coffee, and we've been together ever since.
So
it's awesome. I'm going to step away for a moment, Greg. Any follow up with that? I'll be back in a moment. Okay.
So staying on that topic just briefly, I have a friend. Her name is Gwen, and KD ironically has met Gwen through video. And anyway, that's my friend Gwen, and she has a question for you.
Well, hello, Gwen. Ask away.
What's that? That's Gwen, and she's a hopeless romantic. Gwen is, so where was your first paranormal experience with KD? And she wants to know, was it a romantic experience overall?
Okay. I'm trying to think, because we've had, I can't remember the first experience that we had together, but I can tell you, it's funny you say that, because there's this theory that I had come up with, that maybe sometimes, I don't want to get into sex because I don't know if there's any young kids.
No. This is a kid's. Gwen would be in just
okay. So we never did anything anywhere. I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
Where was your first paranormal date? How's that? That might kind of put it in better.
First paranormal date. Let's see here. I don't think we ever had one, but no, we have. Actually, coming back from the States, was actually at the Hall of Waters. KD set up this whole event thing about 6 years ago when we first moved here to go on a date to the Hall of Waters. And we'll go to cemeteries or whatever, but this was actually a date. And it was a small crowd. There was only 6 people who attended this event. So we got to freely roam, and me and him, stuck together, and we like to try to dispute things that occur. And, we had a bond. I have a very love for the Hall of Waters, because KD and I developed this bond when we were there researching. I can't explain it. We didn't argue, because sometimes he thinks differently than I do, which is fun. That's what makes us work so good together, because I'm on a religious base, but I am into all the technology. I think sometimes I use too much tech, and I bring a yard sale with me. But it's like, I don't know what it was about that place. Everything was so smooth. We were getting a lot of interaction with spirits there. I can't explain it. And that's the first place that he actually wore the helmet. Him and I wore the helmet there for the first time. And every time we go there, it's just me and him. We get a lot of evidence, and that was a really good date because afterwards, we went to the Waffle House because that's one of our favorite places to go. I see. I'm not expensive to go out on a date with.
I'm not either. Like Taco Bell is good for me.
Right. But so we go to the Waffle House and have coffee, and we just, reviewed some of our evidence, and we actually agreed upon a lot of things. Normally, we are 50-50 on, okay, this could happen because of this, or that REM pod went off because there was lightning outside, but the Hall of Waters, to me, is very peaceful. Now, I have seen a 6'4" man, about 250 pounds, jump about 3 feet off the ground because he was touched. And there is video of that because he got touched, but he was picking on the spirits. And I was standing there and I was like, if, I know that there's a female here, and if you could say hello or knock on the wall or kick something or shove your feet across the floor to let us know that you can hear us. All of a sudden, this guy just jumps like 3 feet off the ground. And
wow.
Yeah, he was. And I was like, wow, I've never had that happen before. Wish I did, though, because me and Katie, it's always been really calm for us. Everything we get there. I can't explain it. It's just everything lines up. It's weird. It's just a fascinating place. And they actually recovered a wall because there was a structure that was falling in the boiler room, and so they're trying to repair this wall. And there was a wall there, and it has like a street sign on it, and it has some Masonic symbols on it. And TR that runs the place, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, can you tell me what some of these symbols are?" And he texts me the symbols. I was like, "Oh, I said that's Masonic." That was recently discovered a few months back, and Katie and I had to go out there and look at it because that's like we love that place.
You mentioned, and that was a real good something you had mentioned about the guy that was taunting. Something I always say is never let them see you sweat, because the minute you do, and that includes taunting, okay, the minute you do, they know you do not have good control. And I'm telling you, I was on Ghost Adventures, the Annabelle's Curse episode, and I went with Zach and his team, and we investigated his museum, and
cool.
And when that and a couple of things, I was Mr. Jokester, okay, outside first, and me and the other kid, we talked about wanting something to punch us in the face. We talked about, I hope nothing grabs my butt. I'll use the word butt, and ironically, you got to be careful what you say, because technically both of those things happened. Okay.
Oh my God.
I literally the entire time.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but
you got to expect it. If you're asking, you got to expect it to happen.
I'm feeling something on my mouth. What is that? And it later on turned out I developed a sore. I've never had a sore on my mouth before. I developed a sore, and it wouldn't go away for 3 months. It didn't go away. And
I have encountered a sore happen to me.
That's immune system stuff. It attacks your immune system. So it breaks out that's like a virus.
Yeah, that's something that I was like, this is some alien stuff right here, man. Because we got over through the Ovilus and through the radio. It was talking about my coffee. And all of a sudden,
don't talk about her coffee.
I was being told, don't drink out of that coffee cup. And I'm like, well, that's my coffee. Miss Katie gotta have her coffee. There ain't nothing wrong. That's my cup. I've been, So I drink out of it. Next morning, I had a cold sore. I've never had a cold sore.
Yeah, is that weird?
And then when I left the Lovelock Caves, it said it was going to take my eyesight. And I was like, ain't nobody taking my eyesight. And I want to get all religious. And I'm like, so I do my little religious thing, protection, blah, blah, blah. Nah. Next morning, eyes swelled shut.
Huh.
And I was the only one. I was like, it was from all that guano. I'm still trying to dispute it to this day. I'm like, it was from all that guano. Is it guano from bats? Is that what it's called, guano?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Some very close to that.
Is that where they get guacamole? No, sorry, but
okay, I guess I'm not having any more guacamole.
Glaucoma. I think that's the root word. It comes from where they lose sight. Glaucoma. I think.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
for 3, did you ever go back, Greg? To
yes, I did, and it's quite a story because there was a lot of activity that night, and Zach let me spend 20 minutes alone in the pitch dark with the Dybbuk box, and I literally met the thing that was attached to it. It was actually pretty fascinating, and not only once did it come in and surround me, it did it twice, and he was excited about that, and I'm working on a book that needs to be finished soon, and that whole experience, it goes way beyond just that, and that'll all be discussed in my book. But yeah, that night, they did a good job of whipping up energy in that place that night.
wow.
Something grabbing my butt. I mean, I'm telling you, it grabbed my left butt cheek and it gave it a nice good squeeze.
Okay, well. So was it like a man squeeze or like a female squeeze?
Well,
I'm like, can you squeeze the other one to make it even? Like,
yeah, both of them.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to be serious.
Do y'all know who? Hold on, I know. Do y'all know who fake Jason is?
Jason.
You know who fake Jason is his paranormal name.
I'm kidding.
No, but his
Jason.
paranormal name is fake Jason. He hangs out with the new reality group of people. He's actually been probed by ghosts. So anytime in the back end, anytime people start talking about being grabbed by the cheeks or anything like that, I think of fake Jason being probed. But go ahead. Look up fake Jason if you don't know who he is. He's the one paranormal investigator that I'll always, anytime somebody talks about a butt, when I heard his interview on that, he's the person I go to now. Like when I think of butt interference,
I don't know what it is with spirits that like to grab buttocks, because Cheryl Carter and I were investigating in
love Cheryl.
What was that little town? We were with Supernatural SIC. Oh, God, I hope they don't get mad at me for not saying their name correctly. But they did like a haunted town thing, and it was God, I can't remember the town.
Oh, sick, Aaron Shriver.
Yes, ma'am. So Cheryl Carter and I was in one of these little boutique shops, and I felt something brush up on me, and I'm like, "Don't touch me!" And I was like, "Well, hold on a second. Are you Jim Morrison? I'm fine with that if you're Jim Morrison." And I was like, "Why don't you if this is for real, and why don't you pat Cheryl on the butt a little bit?" She's like, "Why me?" And all of a sudden she's like, and I had a thermal camera, and just on that left side of her butt cheek, there was cold spot just on that one little side of her butt cheek. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
The other side, the rest of her butt was warm, right?
It was. I have it on camera.
I mean, maybe
it's awesome.
And again, maybe we're all crazy, but we've all had these experiences, and I don't think any of us are crazy. Okay, but it doesn't matter what anybody says. When you've had these experiences, and again, you call me crazy, okay? Ghost Inspector Greg, okay, you call me crazy. But
Personalized.
the things that happen with this, okay, people need to tell me how in the world that happens, okay? How do I look at Judy Garland and ask her, and everybody, I'll post this very soon. I haven't yet. But how do I look at Judy Garland and say, what was the favorite movie you ever made? Where she says wizard. How do I look at Judy Garland and say, is there anything you'd like me to tell your daughter, Liza? Anything? And Judy Garland says, love you.
She says it.
And then she says even louder, love you. That all came right out of that device. This is worth $1 million to me. I wouldn't sell that for anything in the world. And so call me crazy, but it didn't come out of my mouth. Okay. Right. It came out of this box.
Right.
And I asked the questions true. Okay. Right. Burt Reynolds. Hey, he says Burt is. Okay. He told me his favorite movie was Bandit. I mean, right. Mickey Rooney said they put me in a box, and he's up in a little cabinet area, you know.
Wow.
And just dozens of these things, and again,
what's his face? The guy I like that.
It's this.
Okay. Plays his guitar for you.
Oh gosh,
what's his face that I like?
Oh, Johnny Ramone.
Johnny Ramone.
It's actual
amazing stuff with Johnny Ramone.
Katie, it's actual guitar licks. It's not.
Wow.
It's not like it's not like pieces of guitar that are picked up over the bands. Okay, it's wow wow wow.
Yeah,
like that.
That's amazing. I am intrigued. I love hearing people's experience when they're using any of our equipment, because I can't explain it myself. You know, I've talked to skeptics who are saying, well, I'm still a little skeptical, but I can't explain that. You know, how, you know, that device that you made did that. And you know, KD's like, here, take it apart. You're more welcome to take it apart and look at it. Yeah. And, you know, there's just, we can't explain it. It's supernatural. What can I say?
Sure. There's baloney. We know there's lots of baloney out there.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't baloney.
That's right.
That is real scientific proof. So, just amazing. What are you putting up?
Oh, that's
putting up their website.
Oh, that's our new website, and I'm working on that little guy. He's like not done yet, but it's okay. You can bring that up. All the links work on it. There's some grammatical errors I got to go in there and fix. There's a lot of stuff that I need to add to it. What's that?
Supernatural link.
Oh, that's Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah,
I want to pull up some of this stuff because you do case. First of all, the Chiefs. Come on, man. I guess it's okay. It's okay. The one's super quick. You all personalize some of these.
Yes, we will personalize you a box. If you want a you know, any kind of box, you know, KD will personalize that box for you. He does charge a little bit extra for that because he does have to sit down and design it. But yes,
that's what I want.
That's what I want to know about that.
Okay, so that device there, all right, that has one of its eyes has a motion activated camera, and it can see, okay, and it can move its eyes, it can move its head towards the motion that something sensed. It speaks, okay, its eyes will light. I mean, that device
freaky as heck. Greg says I want one. You see that here?
I want one tomorrow.
I want one. Look at that. He says it. Ghost Inspector Greg, I want one. Well, this is creepy.
So people keep asking KD to make a music box, and he's like, why am I going to make a music box when you can buy one from these other makers? He goes, I'm not making a music box. I'm not being rude, but somebody already makes them, so buy one from them because they work good if that's what you like. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I was like, no. We'll come out with our version of the music box. And there it is right there, baby head. And I bet you guys are wondering, how does that compare to the music box? Well, it does, because first off, it will sing a lot lullabies. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sending you one. I'm sending
Hold
you one.
on.
Well,
Dude,
I'm
this is
serious.
creepy. This is creepy
It's
above
cute.
all things.
It's cute.
So you guys produce that. You guys 3D print those, correct?
Yep. Yes,
That's
sir.
amazing. Yeah, I need one.
You 3D
I'm gonna-
print the head, or
I'm gonna
you buy
text.
the head?
We
I'm gonna
3D
text-
printed it.
I'm gonna text KD when we're tonight.
I have a question. I have a question here. Have you ever thought about 3D printing people's heads that have already passed away in very infamous haunted locations, that we even take something like this that looks like the person that passed away into that location and see what happens?
Nope. Nope. No, ma'am.
Sorry, did I get
but
really
KD
dark? I got dark on that, didn't I?
But
it was
no,
just like,
but KD wanted to do one. This joker right here was trying to get me to put some plaster on me and do a face and get fitted too. I was like, you better back on up. I ain't doing that. Cray. But anyways, no, we haven't, and we don't use our spirit boxes to communicate like summons, Elvis or Jim Morrison, because I mean I was totally do it just to speak. I love Jim Morrison. Still
some people think he's still alive.
I
don't know about that. I don't know about that, but
I mean I have never like
alive.
Some people want to talk to their dead loved ones, but Katie and I don't use our boxes for that. But if people want to use their box for that, I mean, who am I to say for them not to? But we don't do that. We've had lots of occasions where people wanted us to come on, their shows to do like I call it like a seance, really, to contact their loved ones. That to me, I feel like that person's not at peace, that they need to take that up with God. But that's just my view. And that, there is no wrong or right way when it comes to paranormal research. But when you talk about voodoo religion, they'll tell you all day long, you need to be careful for what you ask for. With Christianity, they say there are parts in the Bible. I don't want to get into all that, but just be careful on what you do when you're researching, because I've seen it happen to people. They do. I have a table actually downstairs right now. It's a 5-legged table. It's a Jewish table. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a 5-legged table, but it was donated to me by a homeowner who had done a seance on this table. And so she wanted us to come in and clean up her mess that she had conjured up. And I was like, well, I ain't cleansing, I was like, you better get to Bible thumping. I don't know. I was like, what do you want me to do? She's like, I need that table gone. She's, I'm going to burn it. And I was like, well, wait a minute. My mentor was an old Turkish lady, and you gotta be real careful when you burn things. Yeah, because you could cause more issues. I was like, well, maybe donate it. And she goes, nobody will take it because it's too old. I was like, I don't understand that. I was like, you know what? I'll take the table. She says, but it's haunted. I was like, it'll be fine. I will cleanse it. I will anoint it, whatever. So it's sitting downstairs. We do take, people call us. They're like, hey, I have a haunted object. A lot of Ouija boards are all in the garage at the pit, black salt around them, blah, blah, blah. Because, we get phone calls because people go to locations and I don't know what they've done. And a lot of times they're not truthful with me. They're like, I think something followed me home. And I'm like, well, you need to call the person who hosted the event and talk with them and have them help you, because I'm just going to get religious on you. Okay. And a lot of them don't even believe in God or Jesus or any of that. So I automatically think if you don't believe in I mean, to me, you don't believe in ghosts if you don't believe in God. I mean, you're atheist, so I don't know I don't know. Can you explain that to me? Any of you? Anybody?
Well, what I found out, if they can believe in the negative, why can't they believe in the positive? Is what I if they think that this is happening so much in their home and they're experiencing this, why can't they think that there's a greater good that also exists?
I mean, they claim that it's something demonic. So,
well,
where's
the angels?
Greg? What's your opinion, Greg? I don't understand that.
I mean, you have to understand, obviously not everybody necessarily believes in God. And however, that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't believe in a supernatural environment, another realm, whatever you want to say. But so I do think that the two can intertwine and overlap, because I too am a Christian man, okay, but I have a lot of people good friends that don't believe that way, but yet they understand that they're
agnostic.
Well, perhaps, but they have the clear vision that there is a spiritual world out there, and maybe they might feel that there's something to do with reincarnation or whatever, or maybe you just roam, you never really you never pass on anywhere necessarily. So these are just opinions that people would have,
right.
And I think the three of us have a very similar opinion, and it's an interesting opinion when you view it our way. It opens up a great deal more reality to the whole spirit world. Basically, when you do have a God and a devil, it opens up a huge world.
And I noticed that one of your viewers, this is one of my favorite subjects. He posted the Lovelock caves. The Lovelocks were the Nephilim giants, and
Nephilim.
Yes. So I'm not sure who the person was that had posted
I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm infatuated with the Nephilim. People believe that those are the fallen angels, and I can't remember a gentleman's name, but he did this whole YouTube thing, and he claims that just the way he laid it out, that these things can communicate through frequencies and through radio.
Well, they're still here today.
Right.
And Noah, the book of Genesis is written by Moses, but Moses was reflecting back on Noah. And it said, and that's why the flood happened, because Jesus, or God, sorry, not Jesus at the time, but God was like tired of the wickedness in the land, so he wiped them out. But there was a seed of the Nephilim that still continued to exist. And Moses referred that when he was reflecting, said they were here before the flood and they're here after the flood. And then if we want to talk about angels, I've studied this so far depth, Katie. Talk about angels every single time, even in the New Testament. Angels will come to people. They come to him as a man. We are walking among the spiritual world, and we don't even realize it, and we won't even take the time to this reptilians, the Nephilim, all that stuff exists to me.
I've spoken.
Sorry, I threw that out there really quickly. I don't know if I should have said that, because I'm going to have part 2 of the Nephilim up on my website this week coming up. So this is something
that's awesome. Yeah,
currently researching.
Very interesting. Nephilim.
And I brought this up before, and I think it's something that's really cool. If you do believe in a heaven and a hell, the realm of heaven, if you do believe in it, this is what's kind of cool. If you think about it, at one point, all of these beings cohabitated together in a world somewhere. Now there was
stars.
Yes. Now there was a fight, right? There was a fight. They were cast down, right? They were obviously cast down. There was a war, and Lucifer and his lost, and they were cast down. Okay, that's the whole biblical thing. And the cool thing about it is that they all cohabitated together in a world.
Yep.
And I've got to wonder what that world must have been like. I mean, it's still there now, but that is an amazing.
I'll tell you, that world, obviously he thought he was ruler and king, and he was over praise and worship. Okay, that's why we're seeing such an attack on our music industry, from Lucifer, Satan point of view. They sat on the side of the north. Okay, the side of the north is the tippy top of Antarctica. If you go up and look at the right side of the north, there's no stars in the sky. The Lord of the heavens with him. So then when we come back and say that wormwood, which they keep saying it's asteroid, no, it's not an asteroid. I believe wormwood is and I can't talk about it right now because we get banned right now off Facebook, comes in a group of 3, which we.
Oh, we lost. Yeah, something doesn't want her to say something.
Well, look, I'm telling you right now, Gwen is saying you guys are getting off paranormal topic a little bit.
Hey, what about shapeshifters? Boy, let me tell you about some Indians, especially in Ohio. I don't know what happened to Emily.
Yeah.
But I find shapeshifters to be very fascinating because these particular shapeshifters I'm going to speak of are from Ohio, and I can't. There's so many different tribe names, I can't remember them all. But these tribemen were fighting the French, okay, and so the tribe was trying to chase them off, and they're shooting them with bow and arrows and stuff like that. Very primitive, and the French noted that they turned around and they had turned into trees and rocks, and they were gone.
Interesting.
And they said that they ran by. They didn't notice that these rocks were there. They didn't notice that all these trees formed, right?
I'm back.
Okay.
Hey, I think
you start preaching.
Yes, weird stuff happens when you start talking about things.
The truth. They don't like the truth. So I'm going to cut my mouth off right now.
I believe you get a lot of. I believe you got a lot of your information from the Book of Enoch.
Yes, a lot of it in Joel and Job and Ezekiel and Luke. Out of all the Gospels, Luke is the one I go to the most.
So let's go.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I came back in.
Let's go back to paranormal.
Yeah. What about the Green Man? Have you ever heard of Green Man?
The Green Man. Let me see if he's on my list over here.
Pan. Are you talking about the spirit of Pan? The green guy.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Green Man. His face is normally in wood.
Yeah, he's Irish.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's Pan, and that's
he might be Irish or Greek or something, but I have found that a lot of people don't know what Green Man is, and at the Vale Mansion, Mr. Vale, whatever his name is, who built the house and mansion, carved or burned or took pieces of wood that looked like faces and put them, I call it the cigar room, into this little nook. And there's faces all over the wall. And I'm like, that kind of reminds me of the Green Man. Like, why would he do that? That's weird to me. Like, why would he put these faces? Or was it pareidolia? I mean, did he hand pick this wood? I mean,
is this the guy you're talking about? Hang on, let me share my screen.
Pareidolia is fascinating too. I mean,
it is.
I have quite a gift in that.
Like this guy. Hold on.
That's it right there.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, that's the Green Man.
Yeah, that's the spirit of Pan, which is what and I'll just go ahead and say it. I have a feud with them. I don't care to say it.
Does he hit you with? Does he hit you with one of those pans? There is that what he does?
Pan, well, I don't know.
No, he can. I have read lots of from different cultures. From different cultures, right? They have a Green Man, but they call it like a different name, and they are very similar. In how like some will make it to where you're not it's harder for you to ground yourself. Okay, because there he is right there.
Yeah, that's the one that's in all these different things. Like you
Yeah.
go around and look at all these old monuments and stuff, and sometimes even these buildings, he's engraved in it.
Yeah, yeah. He is known as a protector, but he also he can mess you up too. But the Green Man, he's something new that I'm studying. You know, like I'm not getting off of the Green Man subject, but did you know that, like the Filipinos, they stick a mirror at their front door and a mirror at their back door, so that way if a spirit were to enter their home, they kind of use it as they think of it as a portal. So it goes through the mirror out to the back door through the other mirror. And I call those mirror jumpers. That's right. I've encountered a mirror jumper.
Wow.
Yeah. A couple mirror jumpers. And I don't know if they're like Asian descent. I don't know, their theory of that, but they, Filipinos, I have a good Filipino friend. Her name's Karen. And she in her house, you walk in, she's got a mirror at the front door and a mirror at the back door. Don't touch her mirrors. And if they end up being cracked, they move. They leave the home if any of those mirrors end up cracked with, that's how they are.
This is something interesting I just pulled up too. Pandemic. Never even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else to look into. The mirror. Well, back even in those lower southern states, there they paint their ceilings of their entryways or doorways with the baby blue paint to ward off spirits, or they put copper, which is pennies. They put pennies on mantles and window frames and stuff. But the Bible talks about that too, putting the blood up across the doorways. And then I know that when I went through the paranormal experience I went through growing up, and that entity followed me from one house to the next, that we anointed our doors and windows with oil. So I think it's really crucial if you're feeling something like this and doing this, and this is one of the things I do when I do residential investigations, is that I give people biblical scripture to actually hang up on their walls. And I tell them to read it out loud and say it out loud so their ears will hear it. Even if they don't even believe it, eventually they will come to that. But I anoint their doors and windows with oil and pray over that place, because your place of grounding or where you're at is important. And obviously we have spirits that want to take dominion over land, not just an individual. So, and I think that's a lot of our paranormal problems. If it's a negative issue, it's almost land rights, not necessarily a person.
Right. And there's, I don't want to get into, what a sick house feels like, because I'm sure you guys understand what a sick house feels like. And, that's why it's kind of because, residual energy can be left behind. Spirits, I have found in theory that spirits can take that residual energy themselves and manifest that, as energy for themselves. But what are your guys, Greg, what is your take on
let me ask
sick house?
Well, let me ask you, well, I mean, that's a house, like you said, it could be residual.
House divided.
It could be residual energy.
Like apartments.
But you can't really fear residual energy in any way, shape, or form for any form of potential harm to anybody. But you're talking a sick house, I would say, I consider something with some real powerful energy, spiritual energy in it that is malicious of a sort.
Right.
That makes a whole house, literally almost want to break down and decompose in a sense. And those are scary places, to be honest with you, if you don't keep your head completely on straight. And like I said, never let them see you sweat. You have to go into those things with a scientific mindset and piece together what's going on there. Because I've seen people literally get consumed
Yeah.
Oh, they allow the house to do it to them.
Consumed by the energy that's in that house.
That's right.
I have a friend who I literally heard sobbing with terrible tears, sobbing grief like you can't believe, and laughing hysterically at the exact same time.
Wow, that's spiritual warfare.
This is something that's impossible to do, but yet that happened. And that was a person that was in a home just like that, and is locked in that home and lost in that home, I'm afraid. Let me ask you one question,
Sure.
Katie. You mentioned mirrors.
Yes.
And you mentioned you saw mirror jumpers. Now, I've had experience.
Oh, yeah.
I've had experience with mirror, well, at Zach Bagans Museum for one. But I wanted to ask you, tell me about that experience.
Okay, so basically, during our, this was actually in an apartment, okay, and all the apartment units had a big round mirror in the dining area, every unit, and they had been there since the buildings had been built, which were in the late 80s, early 90s, and then the bathroom mirrors as well. And it was weird because I had sat, a string of LED lights around the mirror, okay, and it's motion detected, all right, and so I have a camera pointed down looking up at the mirror so it doesn't set off the sensor, okay, and light can affect those sensors, so you have to be real careful, okay. One time, whenever all of our other equipment was going off, it set off that motion light around that mirror, okay, and this figure, actually, you can see his face in a tin flower can that they had. It was weird. Like,
wow, that is weird.
It was like it could only be seen through stuff of like reflection. It's weird. That's what I experienced. And it was very playful, and it was just messing with people. I don't know what it was. Like I said, I thought it could have been maybe from Asian descent, maybe. I don't know. Or somebody trapped something in the mirror. Okay. Or it could have been a lot of residual energy, and it formed like a portal type effect. But then why would it only be one spirit? So there was a lot of factors there that I was trying to give that homeowner. I'm like, hey man, you got a mirror jumper here. What we can do is, even you can't even cover the mirror. It's not gonna. He could still anything that's it could reflect. I mean, it didn't matter. I had pictures, and this face was coming out of a flower can. It was a tin flower can. You could see your own reflection in it. I could put my makeup on, looking in this little can. It looked like, it's weird.
That's phenomenal.
And it's like it's I can't explain it, and it hasn't happened just in the United States either. This happens all over the place. All over the place.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Some people say, "Oh, well, that's this pareidolia," and I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe so." I mean,
it reminds me of Bloody Mary, where you see her in the mirror. I saw her when I was in 6th grade. My parents had to cover mirrors even during the daylight time for 6, 7, 8 months. But I was kind of bringing that in myself. So is this something that we want to actually see and it manifests, or is this something that we accidentally see?
Well, or this was the individual, or this mirror captured a murder. I don't know. Maybe it had holdings. I don't know. Maybe somebody was possessed when they died. I have no idea. It could be a million things.
Well, it's just odd that we find the same objects over and over again that are haunted.
My sister and our neighbor Tammy, they did the Bloody Mary experience, and they had the same experience,
Yeah.
when they were young. So,
is this something that are these objects, because you hear about a lot of mirrors that are haunted, these dolls, which I think the dolls are haunted because these dolls kind of look like a human, and they go take rest in these objects for so many years, and they go back to the original host. But and we find a lot of jewelry, which is also could be reflective too. Diamonds and necklaces and things. That's my dog. If you heard him, that wasn't a ghost.
Yeah, I heard him.
That was my dog.
And daggers. Don't forget about
daggers. Like, is this something that we need to look at a little bit different? Maybe because there's a hierarchy, in my opinion, when it comes to demonology and hauntings and possessions. Oppression versus possessions. Is this something that we should maybe dig deeper in and see what the root causes is in these items that are collaboratively together haunted? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, another thing too that I find interesting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. It cut out for a second on my end.
Every month I dedicate roughly, I know it's not that long, roughly about 3 or 4 hours every month to research UFOs and aliens. And I've been doing this. I've been doing this for about 2 years because my brother, I don't want to get it too much. My brother doesn't believe in ghosts, but he believes in aliens. And he claims that what I saw when I was younger was not a ghost. It was an alien because the aliens can shapeshift. Mm-hmm. He's like, girl, that's not a ghost. That is an alien. My brother claims that he's been abducted, and he's not been abducted in a very long time. He's 42 years old. No, 43.
Does he want to be a guest on the show?
He does not like talking about it. Oh, okay. He finally opened up to me about it just probably about a month ago over text message. He goes, I don't like talking about it. And Lake Erie, there's something about Lake Erie, and we live near Lake Erie, and he lives close to Lake Erie. That's why he doesn't like to talk about it, because it all occurred whenever we would go to Lake Erie.
Wow.
When I was younger. And my mom, there's lots of beautiful specimens of moss that grows out there. Like the colors are beautiful. You have like purple type moss, like it's neon green color moss. And so we would, my mom would scoop up a little bit. We'd take them home and replant them. And my brother actually fell through the ice on shore one winter because there was a fish that was close to the top and his little mouth was moving. I was crying. I was like, please save the fish. If something was wrong with the fish. So my brother takes a stick and we're little. He didn't know what to do. I was crying. He's trying to save this fish, and half of his leg goes down in through the ice. And my mom's like, and I'm running over there, and I'm like, "You saved the fish!" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" So I pull him out. My mom's freaking out, and a couple days later, I found my brother actually down in the dining room, just in his tidy whities. Okay, and because I heard, like weird, like almost like a thunder and electrical type sound. It was weird. It woke me up, and my parents were still asleep. And so first thing I do is go to my brother's room. He's not in his bed. He's not in his bed. I'm like, where the hell is he at? At this point, I didn't know what time it was. But so I go downstairs. He's laying in the floor in his tidy whities, which he was not sleeping in his tidy whities. He had pajamas on. And he's not watching this, so we're good. He'd be very embarrassed, but he has nothing to be embarrassed about.
No, he doesn't.
Because for a long time, I didn't believe him until I was a teenager. Because I don't want to get that. That's for another time. But needless to say, he says, "Go, run, go to your room. We're gonna be safe in your room." I was like, "Why my room? what's wrong? What's going on? He goes, there's things out there. You got it. They're going to take you. They're going to take me. I was like, you mean like a man, like a straight? He's like, things that you don't understand.
Wow.
And so we ran to my room, shut the door, and I don't know what compelled him to stuff underneath the door, like blankets and shirts, whatever he could find. He shoved underneath the doorway, and he covered the window. And then all of a sudden, an apparition comes in through his room, through my closet, comes right past us. And I said, there's a ghost. He is shut up. It's not a ghost, it's an alien. So he doesn't believe in ghosts. He believes that those are aliens. And he can explain it a lot better than me. It could be the Nephilim. Who knows?
It could be. That's weird.
I'm looking into it.
I just, this Sunday evening last night, I started watching this on, I think it was Discovery Plus, the Erie murders up at Lake Erie. All these murders that took place in the 70s and 80s.
I had to stop watching all the murder stuff.
And then I don't know if you know this, but I know Cheryl Carter has wrote books about triangles in the United States.
Yes.
There is the Erie Triangle. I don't know if that's in her book or not. So there could be very well activity. Obviously, there's activity there, I think, paranormal wise, but alien, like magnetic field, spiritual stuff like that, there could definitely be a draw to that area, just like Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
You know,
it'd be interesting to take like a nice little, compass out there. Get a compass and just kind of have you guys ever seen that where the compass it's not stable? I find that
spins.
fascinating. And I've only seen that a handful of times. It's fascinating to me. To me, that's like somewhere that might have some kind of healing power to me. But some people are like, no,
it's a portal. I think it's a portal.
Yes, people think they're portals. And I'm like, no, this is some healing stuff. Give me that dirt. I'm going to heal myself up here, No,
there's definitely a lot of energy around in that situation, right in that specific spot.
And it happens with the Northern Lights as well. When you have a compass, it can,
definitely does.
And certain minerals I know can cause that to happen.
Yes, sir.
So that's something something you have to explore as well. Your surroundings. But regardless of what's doing it, it's pretty phenomenal.
It is. It's amazing just to just see that the little pin on that compass just not being stable. I hadn't seen it go like brrr, like a helicopter, but I mean it's not stable at all. I mean it's fascinating to see.
I've seen it go all the way around, and that was with my Pastor Gardner. He passed away in the late 1990s, but he went to the Bermuda Triangle and did some research. And I've only heard the tapes once. Pastor Jim, if you're watching this, I need to get in touch with Pastor Jim. They allowed me to listen to some tapes when I was 17 or 18 years old, and they've been like boxed up. It sounds like people underwater, which the Bible talks about, underground chambers, underwater chambers, and chains and shackles. It sounds like people screaming and stuff. I heard that when I was 17 years old and haven't heard it since. And they told me I was too young to understand it all. So I'm getting ready to get the nerve up to ask my youth pastor if we know where these tapes are and stuff again, so I can listen to them now.
I don't think anybody should dictate whether or not you're too young for something if it's God's will. I was 17,
sorry,
I'm gonna. Is it okay if I was like?
No, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're over. We're gonna have to stop here soon.
One of those?
but it's just I think I was too young to understand it. Now that I've matured and I've done a lot of research, I went through Bible college and things like that too from the spiritual side. I think I can handle it because I really think that they were guarding me from something that was a lot deeper and darker than I could even possibly imagine. But I do remember the stuff that I heard, and it was scary. And it's waterbound spirits, and they have underground dominion there, which a lot of stuff happens underground, even if it's not waterbound. All these tunnels and caves and all this stuff that happens. But it was freaky, and there was a couple VHS tapes. I saw the compass going around, but that was about it. They didn't show me so much of the VHS tapes. They let me listen to the audio.
So what's up with the UFOs going in the water? Does that kind of coincide together?
Probably.
I'm just saying. I
think it's a spiritual field that we don't even know. Like even Jacob's ladder, there's Jacob's ladders everywhere. People see angels ascending and descending to the earth.
I think the lobsters have something to do with it.
Damn lobsters!
Or the crabs.
Yeah, those crabs.
Those crabs, man, are scary.
Especially Mr. Krabs. He has a whole lot to do with it.
I don't.
Hey man, I want some lobster now. I'm kidding.
I don't go on the beach at night when there's a lot of crabs out there.
It is interesting though, because there are people who have a theory that they've seen craft fly in and out of the water, and that's interesting. I mean, there's nothing to say that can't be a man-made craft. Okay, I mean, obviously we have technology. And look, they had. I can remember when I was a kid. Okay, we would go into a place. It was called Hobby Lobby actually, and it was in Burbank here in California. And we'd go in there, and they had all sorts of cool stuff, right? But they also had a lot of models, and they had I'm telling when I was and I'm I'm not a spring chicken anymore, but this is when I was 10, 11 years old. They had the Aurora. They had the stealth. Jets. They had all these concept aircraft that are a reality today. So
that's right.
So these were probably most likely a reality then, just extremely top secret. So what potentially, especially with the way technology has blown up, what's to keep our government or another government from developing vehicles that can fly underwater and fly in the air? There's nothing.
Right.
So
that's right.
So I wouldn't specifically look at something like that and say, oh, aliens. Well, it's a UFO. For sure.
Definitely, yeah.
And so I wouldn't doubt at all that potentially something like that is out there, and that's what we're seeing, some sort of current technology. So it's possible.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Well, Katy, we've gone over, which
yes, we have.
Surprising, but you're definitely gonna have to come back on. We're gonna have to talk more about this stuff because this can go through so many rabbit holes.
Yeah, because I want to touch base on Bigfoot. Yeah.
Could we? Absolutely. Gwen would love that. We have to touch base on Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Definitely gonna have you come back on in the near future here. So I would just want to say thank you so much for being a guest tonight. Mm-hmm. How can people get in contact? I have your Facebook and I have your website. Is there any other ways that people can get a hold of you or Katy, even if you're doing paranormal investigations or anything like that? Anybody needs help?
Yeah, it's always posted on our Google business website.
Okay, so that's in the description of today's page, so people go look at that.
Yeah, I try to keep that update on a weekly basis. Also, Instagram. I really got to get on top of that YouTube. We do post device equipment on YouTube, but as far as events and stuff go, those will be more likely through Google, because through the algorithm, if you just type in Supernatural Inc., INK paranormal, even if you type in Supernatural Inc. INC, it more likely will bring us up, because at one point we did have that as our domain. But Facebook Messenger, through the website, there's 2 numbers on there. There should be an email address on there as well. Instagram, but I'm still working on the second website because I'm transferring over to this, new website. It's not done yet, but you can still contact us through there as well. You can send a message through that website, supernaturalinc.paranormal.com or supernaturalinc.com. Any of those, but it's INK, not INC.
Yeah, INK for tattoos is how I remember it.
Yeah, so
it's ink for tattoos.
Yeah, I think it's Supernatural Inc. Paranormal Technology. I think that might be because it's fairly new. We've had it for about 6 months, so I've been trying to work on it. And but I'm a graphic designer and do printing. So, but anyways, I do a lot of things. I got to get on that. I really do. But the Google, that's always current.
Well, you're super talented and gifted, and we need to have you come back on and talk more about those things too. And you're a beautiful person inside and out, and we appreciate you very much and all that you and Katy do in the paranormal field to bring about more evidence and us to be able to use those devices to study and dabble deeper down that rabbit hole too. So go ahead, Greg.
And tell KD we said hi.
Will do. And I will talk to him about sending you that experimental
Well,
equipment.
yeah, I need to reach out to him again because I could have been the one that sort of dropped the ball, but because I didn't send them, I needed to send him funds, so I don't expect anything until I send him funds. So we'll talk again and get it worked out because I'm anxious. So that'll be awesome.
I think you would like the new sonar detector that he has.
Awesome.
This is something that we've been
sonar.
Yeah, we've been developing this for the past 3 years. We took it off the shelf about a year ago. I don't know if you guys watched the Ghost Brothers, but the last episode,
I have it on DVR or DVD.
Well, he wore the helmet inside of the spacecraft, the jet on the ship. Yeah, and then Katy also used the Scorpion, which is a laser light transmitter. He was actually, they didn't show it on camera, but he actually used that laser to go through the big not the light, but the little glass that's on the lighthouse. He was able to send that beam through that light, and it split up so many times that it was hitting all his transmitters, and he had like 3 or 4 different boxes going. It's amazing. It's
crazy.
But I don't want to get into technicalities because I could talk about color theory and light all day long because I have my degree in that. In color theory and light and how all that works. So, when people take pictures, I could kind of tell, if it's a reflection of something or if it's something with the camera, just because I had studied it for several years. And, but anyways, I will let you guys go.
I'm going to send you dates tomorrow to have you come back on because I want to talk color therapy and all that kind of stuff and
me and Katy, me and Katy just sit and talk for hours. We'll record ourselves talking about this stuff so we could go back and listen to this stuff because we have a theory with light and water. That's all that's all I will say because we may not be able to do anything with it, so I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Well, thank you, everybody. Supernatural INK, and the links and stuff are in the description. We'll be back again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Manifest Network with Peta. She is I always say this wrong, the Ethereal Sisters Paranormal. The next 2 weeks we have guests from the land down under Australia. So we'll be having them on for the next 2 weeks. But thank you, everybody. Please like, subscribe, and follow the Manifest Network and subscribe to the YouTube page. We love you. Thank you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Manifest Network. Thank you.